Hey,
What's up, everybody?
Eli.
Welcome, welcome. Hey, Peter, it's good to see you.
Good to
It's
see you.
Tuesday.
All right, I'm just getting the stream going, and I can see you there. For everybody who wants to tune in, you can go to youtube.com/Music Industry City and watch us in action and join the conversation as well. And Eli, are you going to put the dog on the screen?
Well, sometimes he puts himself on the screen. Honestly, he wants to star. He wants to be a star. What can I say? He's definitely my dog. I picked him because his pictures as a puppy said "ha cha cha." So he's my dog.
Right, right on, fantastic. And the other thing is Angela. Welcome, Angela. How you doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
How's
How are
everything?
Come up
UK
with something that sounds Britishy to say in my funny American accent. And maybe
You
Andy
should,
can
you
give me
should
a
you should say
suggestion.
like top of the morning or something like that, or is that Irish? Not
That's
that's not
Irish.
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not UK.
All right, let's go into
I
the
mean, I could say
countdown.
cheerio.
You could.
How you doing? Welcome to the Music News Power Hour here on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. And today we are going to talk about NFTs and more NFTs. Apple exclusives are back. Firefly returns. LAPD fires rubber bullets at a punk show. And Twitch is still dealing with DMCA issues and not good for their creators. Plus, your Spotify daily update. It's a terrific Tuesday. And let's get things started by welcoming my co-hosts, Eli Window and Angela Randall. How you doing, Eli? Angela, how's everything?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's good to see you, Peter. Good to see you, Angela. Let's go ahead and jump right in. We have a lot to discuss today. I'm really excited about some of our headlines. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Today, we remember from May 11th, 1981, Jamaican singer-songwriter Bob Marley, who died aged 36. In July 1977, Marley was found to have a type of malignant melanoma under the nail of a toe. Marley's health deteriorated as the cancer had spread throughout his body. In memory. Also in memory, today in 1996, Bill Graham, the Irish journalist credited with discovering U2, died of a heart attack aged 44. He was also the co-founder of the Irish music paper Hot Press. In memory. Also in memory today, we lost Jimi Hendrix on this day, 2003. Jimi Hendrix experienced bassist, excuse me, not Jimi Hendrix, pardon me. Jimi Hendrix experienced bassist Noel Redding. Correction, we lost Noel Redding on this day, 2003. Jimi Hendrix experienced bassist, apparently I can't read, forgive me. Noel Redding died at his home in Ireland, age 57. Noel Redding played on the classic Hendrix albums Are You Experienced?, Axis, Bold as Love, and Electric Ladyland. Right up until Redding's death, he had been taking legal action against Jimi Hendrix's estate for payment estimated at £3.26 million for his part in recordings and for ongoing royalties. We remember Noel Redding. Moving on, birthdays today. American composer and lyricist Irving Berlin, born this day, 1888. And birthdays today, English singer, songwriter, and actor Eric Burdon of The Animals, born this day, 1941. Also born May 11th in 1966, Christoph Doom Schneider, drummer for the German rock band Rammstein. Of course, we remember their hit Du hast. On this day in history, 1974, Led Zeppelin attended an Elvis Presley show at the Los Angeles Forum in California. After a shaky start to the show, Elvis stopped the band and jokingly said, "Wait a minute, if we can start together, fellas, because we've got Led Zeppelin out there. Let's try to look like we know what we're doing." All four members of Zeppelin met with Elvis after the show, spending over 2 hours backstage. Elvis asked for all of the group's autographs for his daughter, Lisa Marie. May 11th, 2002, over 500 Michael Jackson fans held a demonstration outside the Sony Records building in Berlin, complaining that the label had not promoted the singer's latest album, Invincible. And May 11th, 2006, George Michael was involved in his second minor car crash in a month after a tabloid photographer found Michael asleep in his parked car in central London. The singer crashed into a baffled after he woke up and was driving away. And that's it for this day in history. Back over to you, Peter.
Right on. Thanks. I love that the Elvis Led Zeppelin's like, hey, can we do this Led Zeppelin? And it reminded me of the Ashley Simpson Saturday Night Live, where it's like she just like kind of just scurried off stage and it's like, oh, my band started playing the wrong song. It's like
just kind of sashay or do a little dance step off, play me off, Johnny.
Play me off, Johnny. There you go. All right. Thank you for that, Eli. And so this is where we scour the World Wide Web for music business news that we think is open for discussion. We're going to get right into that. But first, wanted to welcome everybody tuning into our video live stream. Don Father, hey, what's going on? And a few others there as well. So if you want to ask any questions, you can join us in the chat, or here in Clubhouse, you can raise your hand if there's something you want to react to an article, have something to say, or if there is something that we might have missed and you like, hey, what about this article? Let's talk about it. So you can follow all the information in the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. Actually, we just easier to find the show notes, which has all the articles to what we cover. So if you want to read along at home, just go to musicindustrycity.com and click on the graphic that says show notes, and it'll go right to the Google Doc. And that has all the resources. We also have playlists from our morning show that people shout out artists on every Friday on our Friday morning show at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we create a playlist for that. So make sure you also, for anybody new here, hit that green Monopoly house up top, or hit some follows for Eli, Angela, myself, or you can register for free at musicindustrycity.com to get notified of all our programming. And with that being said, let's get to it. All right, we're going to start off with a fun, awesome little ditty. And this one is from youdiscovermusic.com. And just to point out, Queen's Another One Bites the Dust hits 1 billion Spotify streams. So that is a great mile marker. What I liked about this, it has a little history of the song and everything. And so from its original release, the song was a worldwide hit, charting #1 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks in October 1980. Queen's John Deacon penned the 1980 U.S. #1 smash hit, and No One Bites Dust just achieved over 1 billion streams on Spotify. It was featured on the group's 8th album, The Game, and it was a worldwide hit. The song spent 15 weeks in the Billboard Top 10, the longest-running Top 10 song of 1980, including 13 weeks in the Top 5 and 31 weeks total on the chart, more than any other song in 1980. Reached #2 on the Hot Soul Singles and with some other charts. It also won an American Music Award for Favorite Rock Single and garnered a Grammy Award nomination for Best Rock Performance by a Duo Group with Vocal. It was actually here, so I like this little tidbit. The song was also used in a preliminary cut of Rocky III before being replaced by Survivor's Eye of the Tiger. So little known fact there. And then he says, quote, when one of my idols, Brian May, attended one of our shows in Los Angeles in 1940, brought up that subject, recalled Survivor guitarist Frankie Sullivan, to whom Sylvester Stallone had supplied a copy of the movie. I offered to send him a copy of the tape, which I still own. And John Deacon's bass line for the song was reputedly inspired by Good Times by the pioneering disco funk Outfit Chic. In an interview with NME, Chic co-founder Bernard Edwards stated, quote, that Queen record came out because that Queen bass player spent some time hanging out with us at our studio. And you think about it, hey, it's all about that bass. All right, so this one is Apple exclusives are back. So Apple Music exclusives are back, this time with Kryptonite, one of Russia's biggest rap stars. I'm not going to get so much into this article because it covers a lot specifically about the artist, but this is a music business worldwide. But it was interesting to talk about that exclusives are back and some things that how Universal has handled dealing with exclusives. So Apple Music is busy signaling deals for artist exclusives again, having just partnered with one of Russia's biggest independent rappers, Kryptonite, on a windowed album release. Music Business Worldwide has confirmed that the star released his most recent album, as a 4-week Apple Music exclusive on March 27th. Skriptonite is a rapper and producer from Kazakhstan and is currently one of the most popular independent artists in Russia and the Commonwealth independent states. Skriptonite's close relationship with Apple Music started back in 2019 when he was featured on the cover of Apple's New Music Daily playlist. He subsequently released his previous album in 2004 as a 5-week Apple Music exclusive in December 2019. So they talk about, it's a risky undertaking when you go exclusive with someone from the streaming world. And there have been a lot of people that says trying to talk me out of it, but considering the market share of Apple Music and also taking into account the mutual effort, this has been a great story so far. So 9 songs on his recent albums would hit during the week, during the release. And so it goes on even deeper. This is one of the things, though, going back where it goes back to Apple's music partnership with Skriptonite in Russia comes 5 years after Universal Music Group boss Sir Lucian Grange issued a decree across his business, banning his labels from inking exclusive windowing deals with the likes of Apple. Grange's stance on the matter followed the news of Apple inking a multi-million-dollar deal with Frank Ocean to secure a timed exclusive of his album Blonde on his own label Boys Don't Cry. Having released his final album in a Def Jam UMG contract, the video-driven effort Endless in August 2016. And Blonde was released as Apple Music's exclusive just 1 day later. So, what does anybody have some thoughts on, exclusive deals or anything like that? Good or bad for the industry? Good or bad for listeners?
Personally, I think you just hit it nail on the head there, Peter. It makes sense to business. It doesn't always make sense to the listener.
Yeah, because that was one of the titles things they were talking about. They were launching out of the gate and they were having lots of exclusives, and that was trying to be a big selling point. But did it work? Well, I don't know if it worked, but Jay-Z just got to cash out quite a bit on it. So, moving on to live music, some updates on the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, and this is in Billboard. And the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant payments will start arriving next week. All right, that is great news. It starts off 2 weeks after the Shuttered Venues Operation Grant portal successfully reopened. Officials at the SBA say that the first round awards will be distributed next week. There are 3 distinct 14-day periods during which the SVOG grants will be awarded. Priority 1 applicants that lost 90% or more of their revenue from April to December of 2020 are scheduled to receive funds of up to $10 million in the first 14 days of disbursement. Following that, Priority 2 establishments that lost 70% or more of their revenue in the same time period will receive funds over the next 14 days. And last in line are the businesses that lost 25% or more of their revenue in 2020, which will receive funds in the 14 days after the second round of funding closes. The amount of funding for the second and third tiers, along with any supplemental funding, will be based on what remains after the SBA awards grants to the first priority group. And Audrey Fick-Schaefer says from the National Independent Venue Association Board says this emergency relief can't come soon enough for those precipice of going under. We will be very grateful when the money is distributed as Congress intended. It's been very hard to hold on, but even tougher to plan for reopening without the money to hire back staff, rent venues, and secure acts with deposits. It will be incredible when the $16 billion Congress earmarked to save our stages becomes a reality. As of today, 11,500 SVOG applicants have been submitted to the SBA. Of the 11,500, nearly 4,750 of those are from independent live venue operators or promoters. Another 2,678 applications are from performing arts organizations, while 1,308 are from talent representatives. So it does go on even a little bit more on the article. And again, you can find all these in the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. Just click on the graphic that says show notes, and it will take you there. And while we're talking about live music... Well, actually, I wanted to go back. I know, Eli, did you have I know this was an exciting article for you.
Well, this is definitely an exciting article for me. It's been frustrating to see that there have been so many venues in the U.S. waiting and waiting and waiting, even to be able to apply for this funding that will allow them to float and stay open during the pandemic closures. While these U.S. live music venues have been waiting desperately just to apply for funding to float, we are seeing that in Germany, live music venues are being declared cultural institutions so that they are protected during the pandemic. And so it's great to see some of these red tape knots becoming untied. It's great to see the applications going through. And I think that everyone in the live music sector feels like this funding just can't possibly come soon enough for US live music venues. Yes, let's have that cash infusion. Let's pay that back rent. Let's keep these venues open and in the hands of their owner operators. Let's do everything that we can to keep the cultural institutions of America's live music venues alive and well during the pandemic also. So I'm really excited. This article brings me hope. This headline brings me hope today. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's bringing me some hope. It makes me really happy. This is great news.
Hear, hear.
It's about time.
I know, Ellie.
One of the.
Go on, Ellie.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm outside walking. If it gets a little breezy, I apologize. But one of the big questions with these grants is whether or not equipment vendors will be included as performing arts organizations, the lighting companies, sound companies, etc. If they answer all the application questions in the affirmative, they technically qualify, but the SBA is saying that they may exclude some of them, even though as the law is written, they are not. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get excluded.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, it's and we're gonna have to see how it rolls out, and also going back to Eli's point about keeping the independent venues in the original owner's hands. I mean, you talk about from like last year, like Mark Geiger, basically kind of scooping up venues, and that there's definitely some mixed reactions we could say on that, and we're going to see how that plays out once things start rolling back out. I mean, that was that big concern with saying, oh, I'm going to scoop these up and then almost like a real estate play, an asset swap and sell them off to, potentially Live Nation or AEG or Bowery or something like that.
Or possibly even back to the original owner at a different price.
I'll gladly pay you for that hamburger today.
So
Tuesday.
regarding non-venues, I know of an audio-visual company whose application was accepted. So it might be that they treat this on a case-by-case basis if you're not an actual venue itself.
Interesting. So that'll be really interesting because they have like the leftover funds, and that's what they're talking about. So I guess it is going to be case by case at that point. So hopefully this all roll out and be able to help everybody there. And Eli, Carrie Kennard says hello from our live stream.
Wonderful. Hey, Carrie, it's great to hear from you. Carrie and I, we are from the same hometown, 513 represent, and hello to everybody tuning in on the live stream.
Right on. All right. We can go back more of this at the round table in just a moment, but I do want to continue going with some more festival news. Firefly is on. All right. So everybody get excited about that. If you were a Firefly Festival fan, say that 5 times really fast. Firefly Festival returns in September 2021 with lineup led by Billie Eilish, The Killers, and Tame Impala. All right, so it's going to be September 23rd to the 26th, and ticket sales, pre-sale begins Friday, May 14th, with general on sale following on Monday, May 17th, via the festival's website. Along with access to the festival's campground, tickets include daily yoga, beach club, silent discos, intramural sports, and permanent showers, as well as farmers market and general store. All right, so let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any other, delays and things happen. Be safe, be smart. All right. On the flip side of good news with live music, this was from Loudwire, and the article is titled, Police Fire Rubber Bullets into Crowd at Massive Los Angeles Punk Show. And it starts off, a massive DIY punk show took place in Los Angeles over the weekend, leading to the LAPD firing rubber bullets into the mosh pit. The, quote, illegal outdoor gig featured over a half dozen bands and took place under the 110 freeway. Up to 2,000 people reportedly attended the DIY gig, which featured acts as Dead City, Barrage Walk. I mean, the list goes on here. Photos and video from the mostly maskless event look absolutely wild, with one picture shared by Dead City showing a fiery projectile flying through the air. And quote, to thank you to everyone who showed up and all the people who made this possible. Respect to all the people who stayed for our set as the pigs shot rubber bullets and tear gas at us while we played. Dead City wrote on their Instagram. So this article actually has some of their Instagram postings. You can take a look at it. It's in the show notes, musicindustrycity.com. Click on the, it says, the graphic that says show notes. So there are, you can see their videos. And according to the LA Times, a number of concert attendees spilled out onto the freeway, disrupting oncoming traffic, despite police deploying, quote, less than lethal rounds into the crowd. No injuries were reported and no arrests were made. But yeah, take a look. I mean, there's the fiery pictures. It's definitely a party it's definitely an outlaw party. But, you know, it's like, and I'm not condoning, but it's like this is that mindset of what punk rock and everything was all about. I just wish it wasn't during a time of a pandemic.
Yes, well, I agree that I don't condone the actions on either side. That is some serious street cred. If you kept your set going while the police are shooting rubber bullets at you, very punk.
You know there's going to be B-roll footage of that released at some point. That's just too good to miss. That's like, you know, if you're see somebody throwing away a piano and you take it and set it on fire and take video of it, you know, you just can't miss taking footage of something like that. It's very, very, very punk.
Right on. All right, let's go over to Twitch and DMCA. If anybody's been following this game has been this chess match has been played since last summer and really started to heat up in the fall. And this is in techdirt.com. Twitch takes steps to make it even easier to issue DMCA strikes against streamers. And I got a kick out how it's kind of an opinion article, so this is in the voice and the words of the writer. And the top first, the opening line is from the Here We Go Again department. So if you've been following along, the past several months haven't gone great for the streaming platform Twitch. It all started with Twitch's decision to simply nuke a bunch of streamer content as a result of a massive influx of DMCA notice it's received. While Twitch streamers and some in the public went ballistic over this, the company decided to try to distract the world with bright, shiny objects like emojis, only to continue to let the DMCA apocalypse continue even after it apologized for its lack of transparency. Then Amazon, which owns Twitch, put on Twitch's GlitchCon and spent a pretty penny on it, while streamers on the platform wondered why Amazon didn't just spend that money on licensing needed to keep streamers out of copyright jail. Fresh into 2021, Twitch then gave creators tools to help avoid copy strikes, which mostly consisted of convenient ways to delete a bunch of their own content while not bothering to put in a method for policing DMCA abuse. And now it seems like a near certainty that this is all going to get way, way worse. Twitch, without notice, recently released a new tool on its site to make it even easier to issue DMCA notices on creators. Now, it's worth noting that this approach is somewhat different because this page requires Twitch login in order to submit a claim. This appears to be less about giving the industry rights holders a way to DMCA the hell out of Twitch and more about giving fellow Twitch creators a way to DMCA the hell out of each other. Now, nothing prevents anyone who wants to use this tool from just creating a Twitch account to do so, so there's certainly the potential for abusing this new tool, and it seems Twitch knows that, as the tool forces anyone looking to issue a DMCA notice to affirm that they're doing so rightly. It states users must also fill out their contact information and agree that the claim is filed in good faith. However, seemingly to prevent abuse of this feature, Twitch also states that users must state that they are, quote, authorized to act on behalf of the owner of an exclusive right that is allegedly infringed under penalty of perjury. Viewers seem a bit mixed on the new feature, with some suspecting it will result in more bans and reports, and we'd like to see otherwise. All right, and this goes on even more. I mean, this is, you know, the way Twitch has been handling this DMC, it's I have no idea what they're thinking. It's coming from a different planet, and they have blamed creators. They have blamed everybody because being on Twitch, and we're live streaming on Twitch right now, and the thing is, it's like they kept on blaming the creators. And during TwitchCon, the CEO got up and said, we need to protect the creators. And when he says we need to protect the creators against the DMCA strikes. So when he says creators, he's talking about Twitch creators, but the DMCA and everything from the industry side, music industry, is protecting the creators of the music. So they're saying they're just referring to creators as Twitch streamers. So they're saying we have the license, we don't need the licensing. Then they just started taking down everybody. There's so many missteps. So has anybody else experienced anything? Has anybody live stream or have an artist that is live streaming? And the fact that now, it's going to make things worse because now it's like that, YouTube has the claims, but this is like they're saying that where fair use, there was the one area on fair use. They were talking about saying that people can get out of like saying I can claim a strike against somebody if they reuse my own video, even if it's in a reaction. So it's like where it would fall under fair use, that's going to be taken out. So like on YouTube, when you have all those reaction videos, falls under quote unquote fair use. And don't hold me to anything. I'm not, copyright law or anything like that.
Yeah, you're correct. On
Right.
YouTube, any reaction videos cannot be claimed.
Right. So, but now what they're saying is with this, they show the actual form. They show a screenshot of the form. And they were saying, like, somebody was saying, like, this is meant to strike someone that steals your videos, emotes, music clip, but possibly people reacting to your content too if you ignore fair use. So this is the way the system looks. It's like it's going to create a battle between the Twitch streamers, and that's all Twitch has done is create a battle between the content creators and other content creators. It was the Twitch creators versus the music creators, and it's like I just don't understand what is going on there.
I hate this like so much. I can't even. Sorry, Elliot. I can't even take it. But if you zoom way back out, you realize what it means. It means that they've put the onus on the creators, the Twitch creators themselves, to police each other,
Yep.
which is not only unfair, but it means they now don't have to hire a team of people to police this. And they've said, okay, well, if the creators are going to sort of truce it up and decide, I'm not going to report you if you don't report me, then anybody from the industry who wants to just create a new account and come in there and police it for them, which amounts to A, more accounts, B, people who are creating those accounts being attached to high-profile users, which potentially could turn into better integrations at some stage for Twitch once they figure out what the platform actually is if they've never used it. And C, it absolves them of having to do anything when, like the article says, they could just easily license everything and allow their users to go bananas, and it could become something really cool. And instead, they've just shirked back. Boy, isn't that like Amazon?
Well,
It seems like a very video gamer way to go about it, which is, where Twitch's roots lie, where they would, I forget what it's called. I think it's called swatting, where they would send SWAT teams to
Yes.
other players' houses. It just really seems like, like in Washington when, the lobbyists write the laws, it just seems like they asked their community how to deal with it, and that's what they did with no questions asked and no thought to the ramifications of it.
so here's another area, and Angela, they're creating the battle there, and they're not taking the responsibility. It's almost gaslighting to that extent. It's because the last time the email that went out back in, I think it was September or October, it was one, and then 2 weeks later they sent another one and said, if you don't want to get a copyright strike, don't use other people's music. And what they did in their terms and conditions and their privacy policy and all the stuff on their website is they listed, and now it's very formal. Terms and conditions are formal. And what they slotted in about under their terms and conditions was a paragraph marketing their new platform, whatever, Twitch Music, which they just, so you can license music from Twitch Music or something like that. It's not, I can't remember what it was called, but they were saying literally, don't do all this, don't use anybody else's music, but, go ahead and license music from us so you don't get a DMCA notice. You don't get struck. Then they just said, by the way, here, and they said we were deleting. So when you deleted your clips, they didn't let you know that there is a duplicate of your file on an open public server. People were getting banned on Twitch because even after they deleted their clips, because the RIAA was going and searching and scrubbing, and what they did is there was a duplicate file of your video on another public server on Twitch, and they were getting banned because Twitch wasn't deleting the videos properly.
It sounds like the digital Twitch online version of what people have regularly said that Amazon warehouses are like, where it's just such poor treatment of the people that are making them money. But maybe for the round table, I think there's a lot more to say.
I know, I could go on for a while. So, yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to go and talk about, this is an article on antler.co. And this one is interesting. I'm not going to read through the entire thing or even most of it by any means, but it's called The Ultimate Guide to the Creator Economy. And it comes with really nice pictures and logos and graphics. And it breaks down the creator economy into audience curation, audience monetization, vertical platforms, community management, and creator tools. And it shows all the apps there. And it's very interesting. I really like this article. So that's why I wanted to add this so you can see it. And it's in the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. Click on the show notes graphic. And so they talk about, Gen Z. So this piqued interest in the creator economy coincides with a notable shift in Gen Z's career aspirations. As many as 29% of American students no longer want to become bankers, doctors, or lawyers. Instead, they aspire to become creators. At current rates, this trend could see a generational shift in the global workforce. Here's why Gen Z will drive that change. One, they want to have flexibility to work and live anywhere in the world. They want full autonomy over their day-to-day agenda. They want to make an income by doing what they truly love. They want happiness and limited stress in their lives. So to help navigate this new economy and make most of the new business born from it, they have this Antler has mapped out the 220 plus platforms that are empowering creators to make an income by doing what they love. And mapping out the creator economy, they covered the 5 main categories, and then they broke them down. So they leverage insights and opinions from dozens of industry leaders and founders, employees. So they talk about audience creation. It's a great article. If you are working with an artist or you are an artist or creator yourself, it is something like, or you're a manager, take a look at this article, and it's really interesting. I want to dig into it more myself because we're on so many different platforms, and it's really informative.
Looks amazing, Peter. Looks really, really good.
This is a great article. That's the only reason I really put this up here. I'm like, this is something like for any artists out there, and you want to know about, from creation to exposure to monetization. That's the 3 things. That's all it is. It's creation, exposure, monetization. This is it. I mean, it really gets you on the right path. So, but with that being said, let's check in with Eli with the weather.
Excellent. We're going to check in on your local weather, even though we have listeners and streamers tuning in from all over the world. We do have the power to check on your local weather. Taking a look at the weather in your neck of the woods today. If sunshine on your shoulders makes you happy, you should still remember that public nudity is a crime. Back over to you, Peter.
Well, that was unexpected. But there are some states where, like, there are cities you can go topless still. So,
well,
except not on Instagram.
Represent.
Yeah, I think 212 it's okay. Yes, but just don't do it. Just don't. All right, let's talk about the 3 letters, and we're going to talk a little about this. We have 2 articles here. This was from Digital Music News, and this is Waka Flocka Flame says NFT marketplaces are exploiting artists, and quote, artists have the least gain and the most fame. So non-fungible tokens, as we know, are the newest monetization craze to grip the music industry. So you have platforms like OpenSea and Rarible are gaining traction as a place for artists to sell digital merchandise to their fans. But these transactions require the Ethereum cryptocurrency, which is currently experiencing unprecedented use. The result is through the roof gas prices that make it uneconomical to transact small amounts on the blockchain. To give a small example, buying $100 of ETH and sending it to your OpenSea wallet from Coinbase may come with an $80 gas fee to move the cryptocurrency to the new wallet. It is prohibitively expensive for small-time fans who may be new to cryptocurrency, leaving whales to buy what artists offer. And he goes on, quote, instead of paying burdensome gas fees, Satoshi Art takes only 2.5% for basic costs. According to his spokesperson, the platform is designed to allow artists to keep a fixed percentage of sales each time they sell their NFTs in perpetuity. So this is Waka Flocka Flame says artists have the least fame, the most gain, yet they're being exploited. That's why he is launching his own NFT marketplace called Satoshi.art. All right, so it goes on. They talk about, it lists some of the other artists, the rappers that are selling NFTs, Post Malone, A$AP Rocky, Eminem. But it's really interesting. I just want to bring this to the attention is because when we start talking in like this NFT bubble, not necessarily bubble, it was just kind of launched out and it's the new hot, exciting thing. There are these gas prices and the prices fluctuate by the time you hit buy to the time that you can press the buy the approve button, and by the time that it gets through your MetaMask, those prices will change in that instant. And this is something that people really need to understand. These gas prices, they said for $100 of Ether, it's $80 just to transfer it from your Coinbase. So you have to really take things into account when dealing with NFTs and cryptocurrency. I mean, we see Dogecoin and everything. Consider this like a PSA of pay attention to the hidden fees. There are, when you're talking about wallets and exchanges and stuff like that, there are 5 fees. So when you hear, oh, there's no transactional fees, well, there's other fees. So please just be careful. Elon Musk said it in his post, in his tweet last week, invest wisely or something like that, or educate. And then he went on SNL and like mentioned Dogecoin numerous times and entire segments on it. And Dogecoin dropped from 70 cents to now it's, I think, 52 cents. So don't rely on the hype. Just be wise. Pay attention, especially artists that are looking to mint NFTs. You have to look at, the average prices are, below $200 on the resale or on the marketplace. So I'm going to talk more about that, but I want to get into this one since we are talking about NFTs. It says Decrypt.co and Live Nation wants to turn concert magic moments into NFTs. The ticketing and concert production company is looking to take a leaf out of NBA's Top Shots book with NFT concert moments. So in brief, it's like Michael Rapino said the company is considering branching out into NFTs during a quarterly earnings report. He said Live Nation is looking to follow an NBA Top Shots instead with magic moments. So what they're saying, talking about we've learned from Top Shots in the NBA, said Rapino, we envision Live Nation with the marketplace and looking for some of its concert moments as magic moments we could mint and attach to our ongoing ticket festivals and special moments. He also added that Live Nation was deep in exploration about the promise of NFTs. We have a great team that's been working on this and working with the Mark Cubans of the world and others who are smart in this space. Adding he thinks Live Nation will come out with an interesting NFT concert angle in the future. And this goes on, this talks about the NFT boom with over $2 billion in sales in Q1 of 2021. NBA and Top Shot saw trading volumes at 32 million in a single day. Meanwhile, others are exploring the potential of blockchain ticketing. So Mark Cuban, also the owner of Dallas Mavericks, recently announced the franchise is considering utilizing blockchain tech to sell tickets for games. And the music industry is also having NFT tickets earlier this year. Kings of Leon, as we all saw. So this is something, again, to keep in mind and pay attention to and see when, purchase wisely, I guess is the best way we could say this. And I'm going to finish up with one more, just a little interesting article here. This is a little more for fun, and I think for anybody across the pond, we might hear some reactions. And this is a complete music update. Ed Sheeran sponsors Ipswich Town Football Club, FC. So Ed Sheeran is the new sponsor of Ipswich Town Football Club, or at least their kit. His face will now be printed right in the middle of all T-shirts worn by a team. Not really, but that would be funny, wouldn't it? Actually, there'll be a logo that reads plus minus equals divided X tour, which is much less fun. But the football club is a big part of the local community, and this is my way of showing my support. I have always enjoyed my trips to Portman Road, and I'm looking forward to going back there as soon as supporters are allowed into stadiums again. With the new owners from the U.S. coming in, they are sure to be exciting times ahead for Ipswich fans, including myself. Hopefully we can stop being slightly on the hook, says Sheeran. All right, so, this is the new American owners took over the club last month, buying up a majority shareholding. Mark Sevens selling a new chair, Mike O'Leary. I thought this was interesting, just have a little fun. Ed Sheeran's going to be marking that up. And for those keeping tabs on Daniel Ek and Arsenal said, nah, they're not for sale. And I think...
The interesting thing about this, Peter, we're finding it all pretty funny over here. First of all, American owners of football clubs over here hasn't exactly been a very popular idea with the recent Super League fiasco that happened at the behest of several of the more key American owners of the clubs, the bigger clubs. But it is an interesting one to note that the game changer conglomerate, ORG, is one of the groups. And ORG actually is responsible for investing the pension funds of Arizona residents. So in theory, people who are soon to be pensioners, their funds, their money for the state pensions will be invested in Ipswich Town Football Club as part of this company's holdings. And as a result, hopefully, maybe they'll all, if they do well and they manage to get themselves up into the championship. At the moment, they're in the third division, which is the not quite. If the Premier League is the sort of big leagues, the championship feeds them, and they're in the one below that. So they've got a lot of work cut out for them. But if they do eventually get there, who knows? Everybody in Arizona could be an Ipswich Town fan because they'll be making the big bucks and funneling it back into their pensions. But interesting aside. And I've been to Portman Road. It's a nice little stadium and a nice little part of the world. So good luck to them and good luck to it.
Right on, fantastic. Just a side note, I worked for a U.S. headquartered private equity firm many years ago, and we were the company that owned Paris Saint-Germain. So I know the feeling about being part of the American company that owns a foreign European football club. They didn't like Colony very much because the football club started going downhill as soon as they took over. But they were already going down the tubes before it took over. So,
changed a bit now, so they should have stuck with it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's because they got rid of them. They're like, now we're done. Colony unloaded it years ago. So I do want to answer one question. Carrie asked a question over in Twitch. Is regular Bitcoin similar to crypto you're mentioning on here? So, there's crypto. You hear the terms cryptocurrency. I'll just do this really quick. But Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. So there's all these different types of cryptocurrencies. They have all names, and it's kind of like trading stocks. They all have stock abbreviations. So like Dogecoin, which you might have heard in the news, that's DOGE. They all trade at different values. It's, in a very simplistic form, it's like a stock in a sense. So, and you're going to see it change second by second, and you'll probably get addicted to looking at your Robinhood app more than Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. So, just do the quick Google. It's like, I encourage everybody to, if you're going to invest in there, look and search the Google, look for the respectable companies that offer the information, not just any general YouTuber that says, hey, this is Dogecoin is going to $1 and here's why. And it's like they just opened up their first wallet, 2 months ago when their friend told them about Dogecoin. So you look at places like, Coinbase, look at there's plenty of these companies that, and I encourage you to really look before you make a transaction, because some of them require you to go from a wallet to an exchange to this, or some of those you can only exchange, and the gas prices. So please just do that. I'm going to stop now because it's just a PSA, but we are going to wrap up one more, and that is that time of the show. Eli.
It's that time of the day. The big green dot, it hits the spot. We are moving into our Spotify spot. These are our final couple of headlines here before we open up for our roundtable discussion here at Music News Power Hour. We are streaming live and on Clubhouse every weekday from 12 to 1 Eastern. You can join us either on stream or on Clubhouse. Join the discussion either in the chat or in the Clubhouse room by putting up your hands. Hands up means something completely different here in Music News Power Hour than it does in the club. So welcome to the Clubhouse room. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. You can also find out more about all of the articles that we're covering today by visiting musicindustrycity.com and clicking on the Clubhouse graphic. So feel free to read more about everything that we're covering today. But right now, we're about to move into our Spotify spot and open the discussion for our daily roundtable. Peter, back over to you.
Right on. Thank you for that. All right, Spotify. This is in TechCrunch. Spotify adds time-stamped podcast sharing and other social features. On the heels of expanded partnership with Facebook, Spotify this morning announced new sharing features that broaden the way Spotify content, including both music and podcasts, can be shared across social media. As part of this, Spotify's Canvas feature, which adds a looping visual art experience to songs, is being improved. Spotify will also now allow users to share a time-stamped link to a podcast, which allows users to tune in to a particular moment of the podcast episode. Previously, if you wanted to share a podcast episode, you could only post a link to the entire episode, but many times people want to comment or discuss a particular part of an episode. Now, they'll be able to do so by using the Switch to Share feature at the current playtime after tapping the share button while listening to the show. This is a toggle switch that lets you share from the timestamp where you've paused the show. After turning this on, you're able to choose where you want to share it, like Instagram, Facebook, Stories, Feed, etc. The features also could be potentially used for podcast marketing purposes. Typically, creators post an interesting clip from their latest episode that includes a link to the episode. But Spotify's new feature could entice someone to tune in at a particular part, then continue listening. They may even choose to follow the podcast after doing so, as they've already found themselves in the Spotify app. While it may not replace other marketing, not everyone uses Spotify. After all, it could serve as a handy supplement to the creator's existing promotional app. So the update to Spotify's Canvas, meanwhile, is a smaller improvement. Now users are able to preview their social share across Instagram Stories and now Snapchat to see how it will appear. Before today, Canvas only could be shared to Instagram Stories. All right, so this goes on, just a few more things, and they talk about different, the partnership with Facebook, and we're going to start seeing those interactions and engagements on Facebook where you can listen to podcasts or music directly on Spotify directly from Facebook. So we covered that in the past. So that is good. That is it for the reads. All right. So, we have about 12 minutes left here. There's a lot going on. Anybody want to jump in? Anybody has some thoughts about any of the articles we covered?
I'm just still cheering, save our stages, save our stages, save our stages. That's exciting to me, but that's just me.
I'm still lamenting Twitch.
I'll jump in on the Live Nation NFT thing. I really think it's borderline reprehensible. I mean, people obviously pay to go see a concert, and I'm not saying any of that should be free, but the band plays the concert and puts the show out there for everybody that was in attendance to experience it live, and then to try and monetize a moment of that experience just seems way off to me.
Buy a photograph of the concert. Go on the roller coaster ride at Disney. Pay to get into the park. Buy some merch, buy your Disney shirt, buy your kids' Disney shirts, buy a Disney hat, buy some food, buy some beverage, go on the roller coaster and get off the roller coaster and say, hey, would you like to buy this picture? So Ellie,
that's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. You've already bought all the merch, the t-shirts, the hat, you've paid for your ticket, and in this day and age, you've paid for your COVID test. You've gone through an awful lot of rigmarole. You've probably bought many albums. You have a lot invested, and it feels definitely like an amusement park where they're coming and saying, we wouldn't let you have your own camera on the roller coaster, but we did take your picture with ours. Do you want to buy it? And they're doing
I see that. I kind of see that as a valid point, it being like one more thing like the T-shirt. That is a good argument, but should Live Nation be profiting from that or the artist itself?
I haven't heard that perspective, Elliot, and I've heard this conversation come up quite an awful lot. That potentially, if you own it, then that means that all of the thousands of other people in the arena that were there at that time, do they not own it anymore? Is it not their moment? Do they not get to and what ramifications are there if at that same moment they took a photo or took a video or whatever? Are we going to see the same thing that was happening to these Twitch users who were getting flagged and banned because a car drove by playing a song and it happened to be caught on their stream while they were broadcasting? Is it going to become where somebody who owns that moment from the concert can then file suit against someone who shot a video of that same moment from a different angle? It's so nebulous.
Are we going to start seeing takedown notices on people's social media posts with photos from the events they've attended?
And, I don't mean to get all hippy-dippy about it, but, I am a deadhead. And when asked about, the live concert recording that the Grateful Dead used to completely allow, they asked Jerry Garcia why he, was totally okay with that. And he said, well, we played the music and it went out to the people and then we're done with it. So like, what, that's it. Like, they can have it.
So a couple things, going back to that, Angela, that NFT it's like, I think with the NFT is you own the NFT, but you don't own the actual content. It's really weird. It's like you say you own the rights to it, and it's like, but again, if it's an image, somebody can take a screenshot of it and share it on the web. So it's like you actually own only that one stamped, minted contract with that piece of whatever it is, piece of content. So it's people have to really start understanding that. And here's the other thing. It's like, okay, now are they going to really, of course we're not supposed to take, for many of the shows, so like, put your phones away, don't take pictures. That's always kind of been the case. And now it's, again, going back to what Eli said, it's like, here, we'll take your camera and you can't take any video or anything like that. And then, we'll force you to buy it. But, look at say what Tool did. Tool at their concert. And, I actually picked up my phone. They didn't want anybody on their phone. They didn't even want you the phone in your hand. They're like, you're here for an experience. And if the ushers saw you take your phone out, they politely, and of course the Tool fans are really, adamant, they're really, Tool fans. Okay. And, so they're cool. So everybody's kind of cool with it because they know Tool is like this. And then it was like the last song, Maynard goes, all right, everybody take out your damn phones. And everybody just live streamed. Everybody had a video. And it was amazing to see all of a sudden the hashtag trending. It's like, also that is a great marketing trick. Because it was like all of a sudden you hear the rumors going, you're not allowed to have your phone at the Tool show. And then all of a sudden, wait a second. All my friends are in the Tool feed and this hashtag. It's like I was like, oh, I need to go to that show. But, is that's your moment? Tool said you can have that moment. Now, all right, make it an NFT and pay for that moment? Or can I make it an NFT?
Love Tool.
And don't let the artist profit from that?
Well, that's the next question
That's
in
the
line.
question. Yeah, that's the question.
How much is, you're talking about, Live Nation, it's something, let's tie in what they've been doing. They have they just purchased the other company from those guys in the band, the brothers. Wow, just drew a blank on that. But they're installing 60 venues or something with cameras for live streaming. So
Good Charlotte. You mean,
Charlotte, yeah.
The Good Charlotte guys, Veeps?
Yeah. Yes. So they have Veeps and they're installing all that into their event, into 30 or 60 venues. Now, okay, here's the live stream. We can take that and now we can make that an NFT for you. And we'll sell it on the marketplace for you. We'll mint it. We'll cover all the costs and you get a 5% royalty.
Andy, did you have something to say? I saw you flashing your mic.
Thanks, Angela. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of questions here for me. I think, have a look at what NBA Top Shots are doing because they're already doing this. So whatever their whatever they're doing to make it work for sports fans and not annoy them in the same ways as it might seem like it would be for music, then there's probably a really good model to look at there. But it also relates a couple of these stories, Peter, together, I think, because from my understanding, one of the key things about NBA Top Shots is that they're actually doing this on their own chain. So they're not using the other chains that have the high gas fees, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of opens up a number of different things. If Live Nation do that, and then they have the chain that's doing that, it's whether that then becomes the chain that people start using for other music things. That's where I'd start asking the questions, as to whether that then expands out and becomes the preferred chain for music stuff for whatever reason, because they've sort of ironed it out. I'd be interested to see how far it goes in that way. But if you're concerned about the capturing the moments, I don't. I think Peter's absolutely right. The whole idea that you're not actually really owning a moment, you're owning a receipt that says you decided to buy that moment. So therefore, it's just a case of there's one person who can show that receipt in the same way as there's one person that owns the Mona Lisa, but you can get a really, really, really good copy of the Mona Lisa somewhere. You just won't be the person who owns the original.
Yeah, really interesting when if they own that, they have the chain. Okay, so now I have so many questions there, and I know we have about just 3 minutes left. So I want to kind of wrap on this as a thought piece, and maybe we can pick it up some more. I'll do some. I'll dive into it. But the thing is, if they have the chain,
there's a lot to unpack.
Right. Yeah. Why don't we just burn the whole suitcase? So,
Brett just came up. Did you have something to say on this topic?
Yes,
Brett,
I'll just jump in very quickly about the Live Nation argument. I'm not sure who's still on 360s, but in that sense, where you're saying Live Nation should profit on any sort of NFT, I would assume that if there's like an artist like Madonna, or it was like Jay-Z or Beyonce that had 360 deals with Live Nation, I could see them in that sense profiting. But then again, I do like the analogy that was brought up earlier, where it's like going to Disneyland and essentially getting the photo off the ride. But yeah, like in that sense, it's kind of a touchy-feely thing about this, and it's still new territory. But I would assume, yeah, it's like the same thing. Maybe even look at Jack White, in the same situation with Tool, where it's like he doesn't allow photos. He brings a tour photographer with him. You can purchase the photos afterwards. So
yeah.
I would just say, yeah, in the Live Nation situation of them specifically profiting off the likeness, if they're on a 360 deal, that's where I would see it would make sense.
Yeah, I do want to just, before we wrap up, I am going to put. What should I put on the clock for a little overtime? We haven't done overtime in a while. Eli,
5 whole minutes? Could we get 5 whole minutes?
Okay, Eli said 2 minutes of overtime, so that's 5 minutes from now. So I've put 5 minutes on the clock, so we're going to get 2 minutes of overtime. All right, Andy, going back to your thing, if it's on the chain and if it's inside, is that become Live Nation Marketplace? First question, yes or no?
I don't know, but it sounds like it could go down that route. Yeah, and again, NBA Top Shots, good example.
Right. Second question: remuneration, secondary market. I buy my tool NFT, and then I go sell it, and I sell it in the marketplace. So it's kind of like Ticketmaster with their own resale hub. So it's all going back to Live Nation. Third point here. This is important. Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Rapino mentioned Ticketmaster in that equation. Live Nation and Ticketmaster merger years ago had to go through antitrust and said they are not allowed to share data. Well, if it's decentralized.
Ooh, that's interesting.
If it's decentralized, can they share this data? Or is it considered public data? But it's only just to know the wallet. So what's attached to the owner? Things like that. And can they share that data with each other? That's a big question. What is the data?
And that's also, again, that comes down to the chain, because if it's a private chain, it's not public data. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if it's a private chain,
is the auction technically public though? So you'd have to have a private auction as well, because otherwise you'd be able to see who was the data would be public as to who is actually won the auction, which would then include the details of some of the chain anyway, because it's all transparent, I'd imagine.
This actually relates to something I was going to bring up earlier about this, Peter, when you were saying about look out for these gas fees and things like this. Believe me, from the point of view that you also need to consider if you're going to go into a collaboration with somebody and there's going to be the potential of secondary sales, think about how you're going to do the audit trail of the financial transactions there. Because if you're looking at percentages of transactions and then you've got secondary sales, which are a percentage of a transaction before you've got the percentage of the percentage, plus everything that you look at on that, if you're doing the accounts, you're looking at hashes, which are like 40-character long random figures, not HSBC paid this to this person and this person received this and that. You're just looking at these random strings. There are gonna be some financial audit nightmares in the future for this, real nightmares.
I also wanted to
Indeed.
mention something quickly about the NBA Top Shots example that's been brought up. I wonder if the difference between the sports and the music is that a lot of sports fans, I'm not saying all, I'm a sports fan myself, but a lot of sports fans are tied more to the result and the accumulation of a season as opposed to the individual moments. Whereas I would think that music fans who are going to see a concert might be tied more to individual moments. Oh, they played my favorite song. Oh, they did that guitar solo. Oh, so and so came out on stage and joined them. Whereas if so and so beats so and so in the semifinals of whatever competition, they're more tied to the result that they'd actually won as opposed to an individual moment in the middle of the game. But that's just me.
I think that's really valid. And it also throws up a real question for me in that how long's a moment? If you're talking about it as a photograph, then that's fine. A photograph's a photograph. There's rules about taking photographs at gigs. But if that moment extends to, like you say, that's a song, suddenly is that a live stream? Is that a recording? Is that a download? What is that at that point?
That is a whole separate clubhouse room, is what that is. This conversation is fascinating. We could do this all day. NFTs are not for the faint of heart. For those of you who are joining us on stream, NFT, those three dirty little letters that we keep bringing up in the Music News Power Hour because they just keep showing up in headlines, those three little letters do deserve their own discussion. They are complex and complicated. There is so much to know about NFTs. We could very easily have a room just for NFTs every single day and still not cover all of the information that all of us wish we knew about NFTs right now. But I did want to welcome everyone to the stream and thank you so much for tuning in today. We are the Music News Power Hour from Music Industry City Broadcast Network. We are here every weekday, Monday through Friday from 12 p.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. We try to keep it to about an hour because we're sure you want to get back to your day. We discuss all of the music news headlines that are fit to listen to, and you can join us on streaming platforms all over the world or on Clubhouse now for Android or for iOS. Thanks to everybody who joined in the conversation today, whether you dropped us a comment in the stream chat or whether you raised your hand in the Clubhouse room. We love the discussion. If there's anything that you want us to cover in tomorrow's Music News Power Hour, be sure to visit musicindustrycity.com and let us know what headlines you want us to cover in tomorrow's Music News Power Hour. For my co-host, Peter Schwing, my name is Eli Window, and we both thank you so much for joining the discussion today. We hope to see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, for another Music News Power Hour.
Right on. Thank you, Eli. And thank you, Angela, our co-host and UK correspondent. And also, just everybody write this down. I'm going to give you a YouTube channel to check out. And it's going to be Music Industry City. How easy is that? Music Industry City. So you go to youtube.com/Music Industry City at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. We are doing a very special live stream on VR and music. And this is in partnership with the New York City Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. And we're going to have some great people. It's going to be interesting because we're not just going to talk about live streaming. We're going to talk about live stream. We're just going to talk about VR. We're going to show you VR. We have World Builders. We had Adrian Driscoll-Richard and his business partner, Young Guru, who is Jay-Z's not manager, but engineer. They've started a business, a great company that focuses on VR and music. And they built a world for Rhapsody for a release party. And we're going to have DJs and world builders from AltSpace VR. So when you're watching the stream, you're going to see an interview in VR. So you're going to see what it's all about. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just go to youtube.com/Music Industry City. And if you feel like hitting that shiny red subscribe button, go right ahead. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow. Cheers.
Ciao. Cheerio.
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 Bye.
Oh, it sounds so much better when you guys say it. I have to tell you, Andy, I dated someone from the UK, and one time just for fun, he asked me a question, and I said, "Oh no!" And he said, "Never ever do that again. Never, 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 never ever do that again." I said, "Yeah, you're right.